Hello, everybody. This is Arjay and my beautiful wife, Deb. We are broadcasting live from Mystical Awakenings Books and More in Houghton Lake, Michigan, in the middle of everywhere. And tonight we have a very special guest and a very good friend, Mr. Tim Maile, who is the creator and founder of Pottergrass for Pooches, a wonderful event that raises thousands of dollars for shelters. We're so glad to have him on tonight. He hails from across the Great Pond here from Michigan in Wisconsin, in Oshkosh. So, without further ado, shall we bring him on?
I think we should.
Okay, Mr. Tim Maile.
Hey, they brought me on.
Hey,
Hi, Tim.
good to see you.
How you doing? I even have myself kind of centered here. So
Yeah.
I can't promise that's going to keep up, but
For now, it's great, right?
yeah, we'll do what we can.
Yeah. So it's been one heck of a year for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, it has.
And, we're gearing up for some pretty cool things coming up soon. So we wanted to, bring you on and thank you for doing this. This is so special and important. And I think getting your message out and talking to the people is so vitally important right now, more than any time.
Well, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to do this. Full disclosure, this all stems from me sending you a letter I wrote back in October.
Whew, yeah.
And I said I wanted to talk about it because to be honest with you, the last year and 4 months hasn't been the best. But there's things that I want to talk about and things that I want to share because I've always prided myself in being open and honest. And I'm going to get rid of this thing that I'm holding because I keep tearing it apart and I keep looking down at it, and that doesn't make for good video. Yeah, I wanted to do this with somebody that I loved and that I respected and trusted. So here we are.
Well, we love you, and
Yes.
we're honored not only to be friend, family, but trusted. That means a lot to us.
That close to being blood.
Yeah.
I got blood relatives I don't love as much as you guys.
I was gonna say, that heart connection sometimes can be deeper or as deep as blood connection for sure.
Yeah.
So, and you're definitely family. I even think of your mom and your babies and her babies as family because I follow them as well. And
My mom's in the room. I want to share this before I get going. You two people, Deb and Arjay, are the only two that know what I'm going to talk about tonight. So sorry, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
You get to hear this live in video, but yeah. So
Julie grabbed the Kleenex.
I thought it was important to come on here and talk about it because, like I said, I've always prided myself in being pretty open and
Right.
Letting people in and kind of giving an example to people that are suffering from depression and anxiety. And full disclosure, again, today has not been a good day. Not because I'm depressed, just because I'm really anxious about what I'm about to share.
Right.
Yeah. Would you like to start with a little bit of backstory first? So
Yeah, I mean, if there's people in here that don't know the story of Murray and I, you're in for a ride. I bought this house in 2006, and that's when the story began. I was here. People I think know at least how my paranormal journey started. Just moving into this house and having things happen within the first week or two, and things really ramping up, and really think I was going crazy. I was battling a lot when I moved in here. not to beat a dead horse, but I was really going through a lot of things with a failed relationship. That was the reason I bought the house and all that great stuff. That stuff doesn't matter anymore because that's been 15 years, and that was a blessing in disguise. But I when I got my house, I'd always wanted my own dog, but up until then, I'd always lived in apartments and duplexes and wasn't able to. And decided, hey, let's search on this new thing called the internet. If you think back to 2006, I wasn't even on Facebook yet at the time, and so the internet was not something that I was very good at. But I went to petfinder.com and typed in yellow lab because that's what I wanted. And I found this yellow lab pit bull mix that the picture they had posted was pitiful. He was curled up in a man's arms and he looked so sad. And the story was that he was beaten by his previous owner. And I called the shelter the next morning and kind of begged them to come let me see him. They didn't really want to let me because he apparently didn't like men. But I convinced them that I was not an ordinary man. And I went down to see him. And I just remember that the shelter at the time had a long hallway, and there were kennels on both sides. And they let him out, and he went the wrong way. And if anybody ever met Murray, that was him. They got him turned around, and the little puppy that wasn't supposed to like me or like any man came running to me and jumped into my arms. I remember going outside and playing with him for about an hour. And of course, I couldn't bring him home that day. So when I went to leave, he was up against the chain link fence, kind of staring at me as I went to the car. And it was a 45-minute drive home, and I cried the whole way home. Finally got clearance to go get him. I think like a week and a half later. It seemed like forever. Brought him home, and he was hearing and seeing the things that I was hearing, and I didn't feel crazy anymore. At the same time, I was dealing still with depression, and one night it almost got the best of me, and I sat in my bathroom with the biggest knife I had in the house, and went through each family member, each friend, and kind of gave myself my own bullshit reason as to why they'd be better off without me. And through that all, I felt something on my arm, and I looked down, and it was Murray's chin, and he was looking up at me with those big brown beautiful eyes, and that was it. I mean, we were father-son from that day forward. And for the next 13 years, I did whatever I could to make his life comfortable. And I'd like to think I did a pretty good job. But we got, as we got older, and I say we because both of us aged, I think he was about 7 when his mortality started to really hit me. What was going to happen with me when he was gone. And at the time, I was getting a lot of opportunities to go to paranormal conferences and speak, and they give you a table and everything. And it was just, I had that table, but I didn't have anything, which was fine with me. But I thought, hey, there's something we can do with this table. We can do some good, and at the same time, kind of create a legacy from her. And that's how Autographs for Pooches was born. And I'm the only one on the screen now, which is a little weird because I like looking at Arjay and Deb. So there we go. It was more comforting than looking at my own face.
We're here with you always.
But so I, with the help of my ex-wife, and she deserves credit even though we're not together anymore. She took pictures, and you see some of them behind my shoulder here. And the idea was to just sell them for $10 a piece and have Murray autograph them. And I would, do my best to personalize them at events and stuff. And there were really no goals. I wanted to do something, and that's all I knew. And the first year or so was pretty slow. It started to take off at Little Traverse Bay Parafest. And then a discussion with John Cassidy really sent it into motion. He said, well, why don't we do an event up here in Petoskey, and all the ticket sales from the investigations and the lectures and everything will go to Northern Michigan Animal Rescue Network. And I love the idea. I just never thought that we'd be able to, to sell enough tickets with just, at the first one, it was just John and I. And let's be honest, John sold all the tickets. That big sexy beast. But in all seriousness, I can't remember the exact amount that we raised that day, but it was about $750. And it just lit a fire. And the state of Michigan just got behind it. And every time I'm in Michigan, it's a great weekend. And it was like a snowball. It just kept building and building and building and building. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So right. We've been on a little bit of a break, but going back, I mean, there were some events that Murray was at. I was fortunate enough to have him at some of the events, and I always loved playing second fiddle to him. I loved seeing the way people reacted and interacted with him, and he greeted everybody. He was so happy to be there. He was so happy to see people. And it just felt like the right thing, that I'd found my calling, and that's what we were supposed to be doing. And, and then as he got older, we weren't able to bring him to events just because he couldn't get around as well. And that was right around the time of my divorce. And then my mom stepped in, and she started watching Murray on weekends when I was out of town. And, allowing us to continue. And, Murray's legacy set. And here we are, and it's been about a year and 4 months since he's been gone. And, kind of coming on here and bearing my soul and going to talk about, what happened in the days, weeks, and months after. But,
hey, Tim, can you tell our listeners how much money you have raised?
To the exact cent, probably not, but I know it's over $48,000.
Wow.
And we're real proud of that, because it's all been grassroots. Yeah. It's been events that a lot of people would consider small, but they mean so much more than some of the bigger events.
Right.
Yeah, and I can testify that to the fact that all of the proceeds, everything that comes in, is donated to shelters or rescues or whatever. All of it all goes to the animals. So,
yeah, I've actually lost a lot of money on photographs.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. This is not me complaining, but I've lost a lot of money just because I want to see the shelter get as much as we can, and the excitement for me is just counting and knowing we're getting closer and closer to the goal. And it's just Rhonda said it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal feeling at the end of the event when we can bring people up and say, hey, this is how much we raised for you. It's just been it's been an amazing ride, and I'm missing my sidekick now, but we continue to do this for him, and like I said, Murray's legacy set. At least until I'm gone, people are going to remember him, because I'm not going to let him forget. But yeah, that's the story behind photographs and why we do it, and it's long and drawn out, and a lot of ums in there. So hopefully you followed along.
Yeah, we're so happy to put this on for you here in Houghton Lake again. So I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. We all need something to do, and that's what else better to do than photographs or pooches.
Right. And Tim, the event, the photographs that you and Murray came together to build, not only helps thousands of animals, and it truly does, it also helps so many people. like I said earlier, now is the perfect time with everything going on. Depression is, over the top right now. People are having a hard time dealing. And your story with Murray, how Murray saved you and how you saved him, is very needed. People need to hear there's hope. There really, truly is hope. And you do that for people, you and Murray together. And
Well,
I personally want to thank you for that.
I appreciate that. And it's one of the things that I didn't really, I think when I started this, I was so naive on how it would affect people and whether it would. I didn't start sharing my story about anxiety and depression and the attempted suicide until about 2012. And when I started sharing that story, I didn't know how people were going to react. Initially, there was a lot of support, and I would be at events, and people would come up to me after I was done speaking, and I'd have a line of people that wanted to tell me their story, and I didn't expect that. I really didn't. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. And it was beautiful. People would come up and tell me their story, tell me about their dog, their cat, and how they saved them, and just knowing that your words can mean something to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It gave everything extra meaning. And when Murray was around, every time I'd get home from an event or a photographs event, I'd always sit him down and I'd tell him how much we made and how much we donated. And in my mind, he was so excited, but he was excited just to see me. And that bond that we had, that unspoken bond.
Have.
There were days I didn't even talk to him. You'd give him a look, and he knew what I wanted him to do. He knew what needed to be done. And if he had to go outside, he would just come into the room and stare at me, and I would know exactly what he needed. And it's funny because Ray kind of does that now too. And if I don't pay attention right away, then she'll jump and she'll stomp her feet, or her newest thing. And for people that are watching the video, she'll come up to me and go, she'll like fake like she's going to run into me. For people that follow me on Facebook, which is most of you that are listening, the similarities in the look between Murray and Ray is astonishing. Just comparing their similar age photos and how alike they look, and I try every day to be fair to her because she's got impossible paws to fill. I try not to put too much pressure on her because there'll never be another Mur, and I'm sure Mur is sitting in the corner just looking at her going, would you just behave? Just put your shit together, kid. And I ask him all the time for help. And I think he's enjoying watching me struggle with the puppy and getting her to do things because it's payback for all the times that I didn't take him for walks or I didn't take him for car rides. He's like, yeah, this is what you get.
Yeah, I wasn't so bad, was I?
Yeah, he was a perfect dog. He is a perfect dog.
I want to thank everybody that's coming in. We got a lot of people coming in on Facebook, and appreciate your comments. So keep them coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like I said, October 14th, 2019. Unfortunately, Murray passed away. And I sent that letter to you, Deb. I think about a month ago, somewhere in there. It was probably before Christmas, so a month and a half ish.
Right.
I had a deal with him, and this is where I'm going to probably lose my shit. But Murray and I had a deal, and the deal was I promised not to hurt myself if he let me know he was okay. And the day he passed, it happened really quick. And I think some of the people I called that day were, I think I called Tepperman first. I called Todd. I think I called Michelle. And I called John, but he was at work, so I called Jackie. I just wanted to let as many people know so they didn't have to read it. And I called my mom, obviously. And I sat in the parking lot of the vet's office, and I called those few people. And I got home, and my mom got there about 15 minutes after, and I think Todd and Jimmy and Michelle were next, and then my stepfather Dave, and they just came over to be with me. And it was rough, but there was a Packer game that night, and we watched the game, and they even got me to laugh. But then they all went home, and that was the toughest night of my life.
Yeah.
I don't remember sleeping that night. I remember going to work the next day because I'm stubborn, and I thought I can get through this. I was wrong. I woke up. I think I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning. Got ready for work. First thing I noticed, it was my eyes were swelled shut. I got into work, and of course, the first thing I had to do was go to a meeting. So everybody in the meeting's looking at you like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And throughout the day, I would excuse myself to the bathroom and just, cry for as long as I needed, and then go back out there. It was that next day that I got messages from John Cassidy, and John let me know. He said, "Your dad was there at the vet, and he has Murray." And he said, Murray says it's very important that you know he's okay. And April Roan got a hold of me and told me things, and hit it dead on that the last thing that Murray and I shared was a salami sandwich. And gave me messages from him that made me feel at peace, but at the time it didn't really help a whole lot. But then I got messages from Carrie Kennedy, who's a pet psychic. I got messages from you, Deb. And little by little, the pieces started to get put back together. And every message that came through from him, the most important thing was, you got to let my dad know I'm okay. For a long time now, I've been telling people that I'm good, that my head's clear, and I've usually been pretty open and honest. But after Murray passed, I got some messages from people that I didn't expect, and I kind of shut down. I got messages from people that I had grown up with that told me that everything I believed in was bullshit, and that I was looking for attention. And I kind of just backed off, and kind of like a turtle went back into my shell, and didn't really share a whole lot of my feelings, because even though it was only a handful of people, that handful of people, their words, they hurt. But I knew Murray was okay, and I struggled mightily. And the letter that I actually wrote you, Deb, or the letter I wrote that I sent to you, Deb, was a letter that I hoped that people would find when I was gone. And it wasn't a suicide note. In fact, the first line of it was, "I swear I didn't kill myself." I begged Murray each and every night to come get me. Like I begged and I pleaded, even sometimes saying, don't you love me anymore? I just didn't want to be here in a world without him. And it was very, very dark. And I didn't want to be a burden to people. And I know you hear that all the time from people that are going through depression. You don't want to be a burden to people. You don't want to be the person that, sends a message and they're like, oh God, him again. So I dealt with it the best I could. Sorry, I got salt in my eyes. But that went on for quite a while. And people on the outside wouldn't have even known because I hid it from people. I didn't want anybody to know. And then I got to go to Tim Rian's event over in Dundee. I went to the Old Mill Parafest kind of as a surprise. Just got a hold of my mom and I said, can you watch the kids or watch Maile for the weekend? I want to head over to Michigan. And I hopped a plane, I think that Saturday morning at like 6 a.m. Got into town and picked Tepperman up for breakfast. And we went and had breakfast and I had a great day seeing everybody and hugging everybody. And I remember at the end of the night, it was me and Scott and then the Cassidys and Brooke, and we were all sitting in my hotel room just kind of laughing and joking and enjoying each other's company. And they left. And that was my lowest moment. I just told Murray at the time, I said, this is perfect. Nobody's got to clean me up here. They can just send me home. So you can just take me here. Nobody has to worry about finding me. This is perfect. I got to say goodbye to people. I got to say hello to people, tell them I love them. And I was so angry. And I got home, and of course, my mom had watched Maile, and I picked up Maile, and we went home, and just I kind of felt defeated because I wasn't sharing any of it with people. Not even my mom. And for that, but she worries about me enough the way it is. Obviously everybody knew I was still sad about Murray, but sad and depressed are two completely different things.
Right. Exactly.
Obviously you could tell by the emotion I have now that the hole that Murray left is still not filled. Talking about him is difficult. He is, he's the best thing that I've ever accomplished in my life. And I was having a conversation with April Rome last week, or 2 weeks ago, and she gives me messages from Murray probably every 2 weeks. And I told her, I said, "Can you tell him that there's never been anything in this world that I've been more proud of than being his dad, and never anything that I've loved more." And Murray said, "Same for me." And then he said, "I love cheese too." And, it got me to laugh. So, when people ask how I'm doing, and I give them the "I'm fine" or "I'm doing good," my head is clear. Most days it is now, but it took a long time to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And in the letter that I wrote that I sent to you, I asked Todd to run one more Potographs event in Michigan, and I asked him to dedicate it to Murray. But I got to do that. I got to do that myself because I'm still here. And we did Potographs Parafest last year, and I spent an hour eulogizing my boy.
Yeah. It was
And
one heck of an event. Yeah.
that was so therapeutic for me.
Well,
And
I want to break in and say that every one of us had visitation from Murray at that event, and it was beautiful. Even people who aren't psychic, aren't mediums, commented more than once that they swore they saw Murray walking through there, or Murray walked past them. There were so many comments about that. So never doubt that he was right there, and he still is.
the last time I actually saw him was when I was in the hospital in August. I didn't really share this story either because there's once you get to like 4,900 friends on Facebook, there's like 100 of them are just waiting for you to post something so they can shit all over it.
And they need to go. They need to be deleted.
But I had the issue with my foot in August, lost a toe, and I'm fine now. I mean, the only time I really notice is when I'm in the shower and my foot looks funny. But they took me in for an MRI of my leg because they were concerned about blood clots. And I was in the MRI and it's so loud. And I looked to my right and I saw Murray panicking and running around on the floor. And I remember thinking, wow, the nurse is going to think I'm crazy. I said, but I said out loud, I was like, Murray, it's okay. They're doing good stuff for me. Like, you just go lay by the nurse. Everything's going to be okay. And he did. But yeah, that's the last time I saw him.
And the nurses survived, right?
What's that?
And the nurses survived, right?
Yeah, the nurse didn't say anything. So, but he comes to me in dreams every once in a while. I had a dream a few weeks ago where he and I were playing football on the floor, and you wake up so happy, and then you realize he's not there anymore. But then I realized I still got Molly. I got Ray. And like I said before, Ray, when she gets older and she starts getting gray, she's going to look exactly like Murray. It's going to be scary. But she's a handful if she can hear me. But I love her. And Molly actually came from a Potographs event that we did for Silver Mosville Cottage. They brought her as an ambassador for the shelter. And by the end of the weekend, I was eating chicken nachos with her and bringing her home.
Right.
And I've had Molly for 2.5 years now. I feel pretty darn lucky about that. She's an incredible dog. So
right.
There's a lot of things that are good. And I say this all the time. Everything after 2008 or 2007, I should say, happened because Murray was there.
Right.
So everything that we accomplish is him. If he doesn't walk in that room, I'm not even sure I know you guys because I don't know when I met you. So, I'm at the point now where I can think about him and I can laugh and I can smile. If Michelle's still in the room listening, there was a night when they were over to watch UFC and the darn thing lasted till like midnight or 12:30. And it was past Murray's bedtime and he let them know. He went and stood in front of the TV and let out with the biggest sigh, and then walked over to the edge of the room and just stared at them like, "Why are you still here?"
Really, people?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, he had this fantastic personality, but obviously he meant the world to me, and I have so many stories, I have so many memories. And he touched so many lives that I never realized.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Still does.
Yeah, I mean, the day he passed was sad, but then you look back and you see all the memorials that people were doing, and hell, even Tim Reed still has Murray as his profile picture.
Right, right. He's a big sap, isn't he?
And
we love the guy.
And as much as I want to update my profile picture, I can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it's like closing a chapter, and I'm not ready to close it yet.
Right. Yeah. Nor should you. You know, Murray will always be a part of your life, a part of everybody's lives. Your mom had made a comment. Many people have made comments. I'm trying to read him. That he's always with you. And that is so true. He's always around. And, I'm super blessed and grateful that I had the opportunity to meet Murray.
Oh, yeah.
I love animals. I love dogs. Dogs are my very favorite. But Murray, instantly, you knew he was special. And when he came to you, it was pure love. He didn't care. I mean, I don't know how he would react if it was a negative person. I know my dogs, I always say, if my dogs don't like you, I probably won't either. But with Murray, he went to everybody like with open arms, open paws. He would smile and wag that tail, and his whole butt would go.
He knew it was about him. He knew it was about him.
Yeah. You couldn't help but fall in love with him.
Yeah, he was. I think from the age of 2 or 3, he suffered from seizures,
Mm-hmm.
and so he was on phenobarbital basically his whole life, which made him fat. And the cheeseburgers probably didn't help either, but but he was, he was special. And Robin Terry's got some nice things to say. I'm reading the comments, and I wish an event at Ashmore would have worked. For some reason, it didn't, and it's probably more my fault than anybody. But I'll definitely get you that photo, and that'd be an honor. I remember when I went to Old Mill a couple of years ago in November. I showed up, and it was the same year that Rosemary Ellen Guiley had passed away.
Oh boy, yeah.
And I walked in, and there was a memorial set up for Rosemary and Murray.
Nice.
And I just lost it. It's like, that's like the queen of the paranormal, and then right next to her is
The king.
my boy. Yeah. So that was, that was so special to see, but boy, was that rough.
Yeah.
I still have the photo. Tim Ryan gave it to me, and it's.
But that's proof there that he affected so many people there.
He did, and I just, I sound like a broken record, but God, I was so lucky. I was so lucky to have him, and the piece that I get now is that he would have been 15 in April, and his quality of life would have been horrible. So he's much better off where he is now.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me miss him any less.
Right.
Like I said, I talk to him all the time. And
one thing I want you to remember, Tim, is that went both ways. He was very lucky to have you.
Oh, he was very lucky. You two were so meant to be.
Don't forget that.
a lot of people don't understand that special bond, that relationship. Unless you tell them the story. And you don't want to be the guy, you don't want to be the guy that walks around all the time saying, okay, this is why I love my dog so much. But it's a story that needs to be told, and I'm grateful for the paranormal field. I'm grateful that it'll be 7 years already, I think. I'm grateful that 7 years ago I got that tattoo at Little Traverse Bay Parafest. Murray's paw is always on my arm. There's just a lot of things for me to be grateful for, and I should never complain, but unfortunately I manage. But if ever there was somebody that should be putting hashtag blessed on Facebook, it's me. But I'm not a Valley girl, so I don't.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. I was
I'm
kind
trying
of.
to make you guys laugh so I can stop crying for a bit.
I know. I know. It's it's rough holding it together over on this side. We've kind of prepped all day to have our shit together tonight so we didn't lose it on the show.
Some of that salt's coming our way.
I spent the whole day talking to him today, and reminding him, hey, I'm going to be talking to people tonight about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just, in Potographs, whenever we get through this COVID thing and we got the event coming up in March. And
yeah, and we'll talk about that a little later.
But, I'm hoping as a nation we get our shit together and we're a little better off.
Oh, boy.
I just want so badly to do the event, and I think people understand why.
Right.
I don't want to put anybody at risk, but I lost 3 events last year to COVID, and I want to find a way to do it this year. So,
well, I can say, Tim, that for people who haven't been there, the Lakeside Resort is, we're a small town, so it's a little safer than being in the city. It's a pretty big area. We won't have it at full capacity. Everybody will have a mask. I'm even bringing extras, so if anybody shows up without one, they will have one on.
Lots of sanitizer.
Lots of sanitizer. We're going to do the best that we can to make sure everything's safe. If anybody knows me, knows us, knows Tim, you all know that safety comes first. We don't risk anything. So we're going to do everything we can to make it a safe event because we think it's that important. We have not done or worked any events in almost our last one, honestly, was Potographs last year, right before we were shut down for COVID.
The world fell apart the week after.
Yeah.
And we got lucky that we were able to do the event.
Yeah. It was meant to go, and I really think this one is too. And people, if you can't make it, you can still buy a ticket, and there still is a donate button. Feel free to hit that because it's so important to Tim, to Murray, to us, to everybody who's involved in Potographs and all of the animals to give back. If every one of you thinks about this for a minute, if you have a dog, that dog has saved you at some point. They love unconditionally. They give themselves freely. Even abused animals. It just kills me that anybody could abuse an animal, but they still love you. They love you so unconditionally, and they give to us every single day. If we can't give back, shame on us. Seriously. So, feel free to buy a ticket or hit the donate button, even if you can't make it. Because there's
still
so
love to
many
see
babies that need our help. I'm sorry.
And if you feel inclined to go get tickets or donate, you can go to potographsforpooches.com, and that's where you can do that. But the events are not the same as a regular paranormal event. There's just a different feel. Everybody with the same goal. And thank you for stopping in, Robin.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robin.
This year we can't make you jump in the lake this year.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Robin, I am going to probably take you up on that offer, and we're going to try again in Ashmore. We'll get together. We'll get something put together for 2022. So we're way past this. It's I am and the people commenting, some of those people are very good friends, and they're very good friends because of Potographs. They've come to events and they've added so much to my life, and they don't even realize it. I'm not good at taking compliments. I never have been. I don't want the credit for Potographs. Every time I hear something like I immediately deflect it. because nobody was ever going to buy a picture of me. The reason they bought the pictures and it succeeded in the beginning is because there was a cute dog on there.
You're pretty cute too, though, Tim.
No,
we could put a vote out on that.
Yeah, I see the mirror every day, and I know what's going on, and it's boy, I wish I could tell you, but yeah, things are good. Joan had said something about custom printed masks. I'm actually working on that. The only problem I'm having is that the logo does not transfer very well to a mask, and I may have to just go with words, and that may be all we can do, because I can't go to the person that did the logo and say, hey, can you redo this because we're divorced now? And I don't want to do that. But yeah, my neighbor Beth is saying that Murray was the best gardening buddy. As he got older, he would bark until he pooped. He would. You knew when he had to poop, because he would just walk around and bark, and then he would poop, and he'd be done. Now I have Molly and Ray, and Ray is very concerned with the dogs in the backyard. The neighbors behind me have 2 dogs, and they'll run the fence with each other. And I got to get it through Ray's head that barking at 4 a.m. is not going to make friends. So we're working on that. Sorry, Beth.
Still a baby.
It's a work in progress, but I'm trying. I don't want to yell at her at 4 a.m. either, because I think sometimes my voice is louder than her bark. So you don't need to hear 2 people waking you up. But yeah, I mean, life is still really, really good. It just would be so much better. Yeah. I wish there was a way to just kind of, just if I used to say this all the time, because Scotty Rourke used to tell me that I have abilities, and then I found out that Scotty tells everybody that. But there are times when I do see and hear things. But I always said I don't want to have abilities for selfish reasons. And at the time, it was to communicate with my dad, and I'd give anything to talk to my dad again. I'd give anything to tell my dad, hey, thank you for taking care of my baby boy.
You just did.
And, so selfishly, if I could just have conversations with the 2 of them and the rest of the spirits could leave me the hell alone, that'd be great. But that's not the way it works. So, I've always said that I couldn't handle that responsibility. I couldn't imagine what you deal with on a daily basis, Deb, or April, or Scotty, or John. I don't know how I would handle it if I had that stuff constantly coming at me.
Yeah. Number one, it's not constant. I was born into this and had to deal as a kid, learn how to deal with it. And you just have to have boundaries. I know some mediums will say, oh, it's always coming at me. And maybe I'm just better at ignoring it. I don't know. But it's, I tell people when I sit down with somebody and I'm ready to do a reading, whether it's face-to-face or Zoom or whatever, that's when I open up. So it's not constant. But I can also tell you, Tim, as a medium, the hardest ones to connect with are our own loved ones. And I think that's for a reason. And it's kind of important that we connect with other people. If I could sit around and talk to my parents and my son and, my animals on the other side, I wouldn't talk to any of you. That's the way it is. I just wouldn't. So we need to be, have to reach out to other people. We need to give and receive help from others. So I think that's why it's hard to connect with our own people. You reading comments? I can't, my eyes are so bad, I can't see them. So, knowing that Murray is with you, you've had the opportunity to see him. You've had dreams. That's a blessing. It really is. And when I was talking to you earlier, I wanted to send you a little message that he was right at your left leg. And I thought, God, I don't want to do that because I don't want to make up a sound before the show. But he was right there. He was right on your left leg. You going to say something?
Well, Murray, I just did the numbers on him. I'm a numerologist. It's 1122, both master numbers. So very special. And so that would be 2, 4, 6. Yep. So the 1122 are master numbers, and the top soul number is 11, and bottom number is 22. Nice.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, Murray. I can see that. Murray was very connected spiritually as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a paranormal dog. He could pick up on things. When he came to be with Tim, he was a little bit of everything. But I think he was definitely a higher being, without a doubt.
He wasn't an ordinary dog. He was special. And towards the end, he couldn't. His back legs really bothered him, and he couldn't do walks anymore. So Michelle actually bought him a wagon, and I would take him for walks in the wagon. And one of my regrets is I didn't take him on more. Because he loved it. He loved it because he got to see the neighborhood. He got excited by the things he used to get excited about when he was walking.
Right.
Yeah, it was. Man, it was, over 12 years, and just, there wasn't a bad moment. I mean, funny stories. So we stopped crying. My first night shift that I worked after I got Murray, he was so angry at me for being gone all night that I got home and I was petting him on the floor, and he straddled me and peed on me. And I laughed. I laughed, and he was so pissed off, and I was pissed on. But he was it was weird because I didn't yell at him. I couldn't bring myself to yell at him. Anything that he did, and as he got older, he took advantage of that because he knew his dad was soft, but. I used to say all the time, how do you think somebody has saved your life?
Right. Tim Rian's doing this show for us, and thank you, Tim. He's amazing. But I'm wondering if he can put that last comment back up, and if you could read that, Tim. Can you see it?
Actually, I've been told many times that there was no accident.
Exactly.
And that my dad had a big hand in me finding him. Cool story on Ray. Since we got some time to kill. Like I said, I see things every once in a while. And sometimes I pass them off as dreams because I don't want people to bother me with, hey, what are you seeing? But way back, I had a vision that I was on the couch and I was looking at pictures of Murray on the laptop, and there was a puppy in my lap. And the puppy's name was Ray.
Oh, wow.
And I was showing him at the time, I was showing him pictures of his older brother and telling him how special he was. And while I'm seeing all of this, it dawns on me that Murray's no longer with us in this vision. And it was also my dad telling me everything's going to be okay.
Right.
Fast forward to when Murray passed away, and Carrie Kennedy gave me a reading. And during the reading, she said, Murray says you're thinking about getting a puppy. And I said, yeah, I'm going to get a puppy, and I'm going to name it Ray because that's the last three letters of Murray's name. And she said, Murray Murray says you have to get a girl. You can't get a boy because he can be the only boy. and for those that are wondering, that's how I ended up with another girl. I still named her Ray, R-A-E, in honor of her big brother. But it worked out. It worked out so great. I'd worked with a group over here called Frosty's Fosters, and Jason Drake was in here at one point. Worked with them, did an event, and after Murray passed, it was probably, I want to say another month and a half after he passed. They got a hold of me and said, "Hey, we got some lab pit puppies coming up from Alabama, and you can have first pick." And that was pretty awesome. And I picked Ray because she had the same markings as Murray when he was younger. Little did I know she was going to turn up, grow up to be a spitting image of her big brother. But she's much taller. She's much bigger than Murray ever was. She thinks she's the lap dog, and she's a klutz. But yeah, she's amazing. I taught her the word fight, and it's not as evil as it sounds. Her idea of fight is let's wrestle for 2 minutes and then I'll lick you to death. That's her idea of fight. But I can look at her and I'll put my hands up and I'll go, "You want to fight?" And she gets so excited and she'll come on the couch and she'll want to tackle me. And that's our fun. But it also takes some of the heat off of Molly, because Molly's not a spring chicken, and Ray wants to play all the time. So I try to give Molly a break when I can.
Hey, listen, it's the top of the hour here. Our listeners can take a break when they want, but we can't. So we're going to take 5 at 9 o'clock. Yeah, we'll take 5, and take what you want, and we'll be back for sure to talk more Pottergrass for Pooches.
Yeah.
And this amazing story.
I'm stumbling here, trying to hold it together. So I do have what you sent, Tim, and I can't do it. Maybe we shouldn't even talk about it. But if you want that read, I'm going to volunteer RJ to read it so that people understand where you're at.
Thank you.
But I'll give you a few minutes. I mean, you can wait and let us know after break.
We can do that. I worry about RJ reading it. I know I'm not getting through it. So
no, and I can't. I glanced at it and about lost it. So, yeah.
Before we go to break, I do have a Sheldon from Big Bang Theory cardboard cutout behind me.
Oh, cool!
and he's actually wearing a Pottergraph shirt. I put one on him.
Wow!
I'll get my freaking head out of the way.
There you go. How cool is that?
Sweet.
I love it. Love it.
So everybody, hang in there. Thanks for joining us tonight, and keep with us. We'll be back with Mr. Tim Maile and Pottergrass for Pooches. So we'll see you in about 5 minutes.
He said you gotta go farther. Keep going.
Go deeper.
Go deeper, Tim. I want to see the t-shirt all wet.
You lost it.
Oh no. Okay, and we are back. Thanks for the little break. My body needed that. So welcome back to Mystical Awakenings Radio with Deb, RJ, and Tim Maile.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Sadly, RJ hit a button and lost the thing.
We'll get it
You
back.
guys talk for a minute while I find it. Because Tim and I talk a lot.
So we should probably tell what day this is going to happen and where. So go ahead, Tim. Give the information out. This new Pottergrass Pooch is coming up in March, right?
March 5th and 6th. It's a 2-day event this time. March 5th, we're doing an investigation / Q&A with the speakers. And we've got 5 tickets left for that. We'll be sold out on the investigation.
Oh, nice.
And that's only $20. So come on out and do a short investigation with the speakers and get to know us a little bit the night before. And that way we can socially distance at the bar afterwards, and then get ready for the next day. Saturday is kind of a 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. thing. A lot of great people are going to be there. Paul Bradford's going to be at his first Pottergraphs event. Scott Tepperman will be there. Tim Woolworth, myself, April and Braxton Roan, Brian Danhausen, the father of my now favorite wrestler, also Danhausen. And then there's going to be Deb and RJ. John Cassidy is going to be doing the emceeing. Todd Arnold's going to be there with me. Chris. Why did I say Chris? There's no Chris. James Anito, Carl Johnson, Keith Johnson, all going to be there to speak about demonology. And if I'm forgetting anybody, it's because I don't have the darn poster in front of me. Unfortunately, this week found out that due to COVID and travel restrictions, Cody and Satori are no longer able to make it, and also Chelsea Gill, through no fault of their own. There's just a thing where the flights just weren't coming out of New York, and the flights that were coming out of Providence were also canceled. So neither one of them are going to be able to make it. We're going to have a great event either way. Hey, there it is. Hey, look at that. I got everybody.
Woohoo!
Look at that. I remembered everyone. So yeah, I mean, it's still going to be a great event. We're going to have a lot of fun, and yeah, come on out, support the animals.
A lot of air hugs.
A lot of air hugs. Yes. This is going to sound dirty. I don't mean it to sound dirty, but if you want a real hug, you can always sneak over to my hotel room. I'll give you a hug real quick. I promise I won't breathe on you. But probably shouldn't be doing that either. And it sounded a lot dirtier than I intended. So I apologize for that.
I'm biting my tongue.
Yeah.
But I will be there for a hug. So, yeah, it's going to be a great event. Everybody needs to be there. Are you almost ready?
I am ready.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
going
well,
to
Can I say something real quick before you go?
Yeah.
This might be able to help you get through this. I saw the pictures that Rian put in the break there, and I will remember that, Mr. Rian. There were videos of me in leggings, and there were photos of me in leggings that should never see the light of day.
Well, I was trying to explain earlier, you can't jump in the lake that time of the year, so there'll probably still be ice on it.
Yeah.
No, we did last year.
Was it? Was it?
No, I did not.
You
No,
didn't?
No.
No, I promised snow angels, but I didn't do those either.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll make up for it. We'll do something. At least the leggings. At
Yeah,
least-
we'll figure. I still have my pug leggings. They're upstairs. I haven't worn them since then.
They look really good on you, Tim.
I disagree. But, but anyway,
Anyways, you sent this to me. You wrote this in October. And I think it's important, since you're willing to be open about what you've been through since losing Murray, I think it's important for people to hear a little more of what you really were going through, where your mind was at, because number one, we all need to still love you and support you. But we can get through these hard times. We have to remember that we do have one another. And, if Tim can do it, we can do it. You give people hope, Tim. So.
all right. I'm
Okay.
going to try not to cry the whole time.
Yep.
Okay, are you guys ready? Here we go. I don't know if I'm ready, but here we go. The important thing to remember is that I'm still here, and I was there to do Murray's celebration. I trust you guys with this part of my story and will only discuss it on your show. I am so sorry. I swear I didn't kill myself. I've been begging God to take me for years. The thought of Murray being alone, however irrational, scared me worse than anything. I begged God to let me go with him, and as far-fetched as it sounds, if you are reading this, it worked. I am with Murray and my dad, and we are looking down at all of you with great love. Mom, I love you, and I'm sorry that I'm gone. I promise that I will look for Reggie, Monkey, Spud, and Peanut. There is no need to worry about me. I am with Dad and Murray. I am sure of it. I will come back from time to time, if I can, to knock things over during the Packers games. Big smile. Todd, you kept me sane for over a decade. I could not have met a better person than you on this earth, and I thank you for every time you checked in on me and all the times you let me call you Uncle Todd for Murray. He was excited every time I told him that this is Uncle Todd. Uncle Todd was coming over. I have two favors to ask you. Please continue to help families and run Fox City's paranormal team. You are going to need help. It is a shit ton of work. So, Tammy, you're in. Nothing would make me happier than to come through at one of your investigations and help you guys out. The next favor is a bit complicated. I want Pottergrass to live on for one more event, and I would like to have that event to be held in Houghton Lake, Michigan. The next request may surprise you, or maybe not. Want the event to be a dedication to the life of Murray. I want the event to be about him and all that he did for animals. I was always just a human that could tell his story. Fox City's paranormal team, few things in this world, brought me more joy than spending time with you all. I found my purpose. You all still have a job to do. I will be watching to make sure Dylan is putting the equipment in the correct cases. I love you guys. It seems so final writing this, but thank you. I could not have had a better family. Jason, my brother, I promise you that I will give Randy a huge hug and tell him just how proud I am of his boy. Excuse me. You have turned into a wonderful man, and I was so proud to call you brother. The rest of my dad's side of the family, please don't be angry with me, and please know that I was not afraid of death. I know that I am with Dad, and I could not be happier. Tim Woolworth, John Cassidy, Jackie Cassidy, Scotty Rourke, Deb and RJ, Tim Rehan, Josh Weimer, and Scott Tepperman, thank you for your friendship and love. I was not always easy to deal with, and I was stubborn. Still probably am. I will come to each of you and say goodbye if I am able to. I love all of you. It's been a joy to know you, and when it is time for us to meet again, I hope that you will greet me with a smile and a hug. All my love, Tim.
Wow. Yeah.
I did it.
You did it. I need to unpack some of that. First of all, I don't think Todd's listening, but if he ever does, watch this video. There's not a better person on earth than Todd Arnold. There really isn't. I've never met somebody that's so even keel and humble and selfless, and he's so quiet, and you would never know all of those things about him because he just doesn't talk a whole lot. In March, you'll get to be around him, and hopefully he lets loose a little bit. But yeah, there's very few things in this world that I look more forward to than hanging out with Todd, and he and I have a very close bond. So I meant every word I had in there. Jason is like a brother to me. We're cousins, but we got the same. My mom and his dad were brother and sister, and my dad and his mom were brother and sister. So we got the same genes.
Double cousins.
Yeah, I get to see him Sunday, and I'm looking forward to that. I love that kid to death. Yeah, there's just there's a lot in there. I poked fun at Dylan because the one time he did an investigation without me there, he put all the equipment in the wrong place and left some of it at the house. So, but yeah, it was. I'm glad you read that because it's, that's where my head was at.
Right. When you wrote that, Tim, you did that in preparation of Murray taking you with him.
Yeah.
And you were fully ready at that time. And Murray said, hell no. Murray. Thank you, Murray.
Full disclosure, again, I'm still ready. I mean, I don't want that to scare anybody, but I'm not afraid of death. And if that time comes, I don't want people to be sad, because just know that it's the greatest reunion ever. If I don't see him, if I don't see him for another 40 years, it'll be like we just left off. My biggest fear, if I'm being completely honest, my biggest fear is that I'll somehow get dementia or Alzheimer's and lose the ability to remember him. That's my biggest fear. But as far as death, I'm not looking forward to it. So I don't want people to jump in their car and come over to the house. But I'm not afraid of it, because, I get to see my Mur, I get to see my dad, and hopefully by then I'll get to see Molly again. I'm not trying to get rid of your mom, but there's a good chance you're going to go before me. So I'll get to see my mom, and I'll get to see Dave again. But I'm going to enjoy every minute I have with them while they're here. But that's where my mind's at right now, and that's a good thing, that I plan on being around for a while. But if my time comes up tomorrow, just know that I'm so unbelievably happy.
Now, remember this. You don't have, the dementia thing is of the brain. It's not of the mind. Your mind will always be in contact and always remember. So your mind's eye. It's just dementia is something of the brain, which are two different things. We talk about all the time, right?
Oh, yeah.
The mind and the brain are different. So
Yeah.
you'll never forget.
Yeah. Your soul will always know Murray. You'll always be Dad. And he'll always be your son.
For people that don't know who the hell I am, which is probably a lot of people that are clicking on this, they're like, why do we want to watch this guy cry for an hour and 20 minutes? But yeah, I mean, that when I wrote that letter, I mean, that was, I want to say that was probably the day after. I think it was the day after. Yeah, that's where I was. It just, like I said in the letter, as irrational as that sounds, I wanted nothing else than, to wake up in paradise and my boy was next to me. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as we're confessing that, Tim, I've been dealing with some depression myself. I'm more than I ever have. Of course, I lost both my brothers 4 months apart in 2019, 2020, and then when they were gone, they were here at the house, so we got to be with them. But I had my accident, which I was all ready to do things, and I decided to fall down the stairs, and I've been battling depression myself, and it's not easy. I'm not used to this, so I totally understand. Now because I'm dealing with it. So,
and it's weird, and thank you for sharing that. Like one of the misconceptions about depression is that you walk around sad. Here's how depression affects me. And I've never told anybody this. There's days where I can't get myself off the couch to shower. There's days I have so many things I want to accomplish, but I don't accomplish any of them because I just can't get myself motivated. And it's not laziness.
right,
It's just,
right.
And this is the big one, and my neighbors will attest to this. I get so much anxiety from getting the mail. I don't know why. Getting the mail gives me anxiety and like freaks me out to the point of like not being able to function. So I typically get the mail in once a week and it just builds up and builds up. So yeah, I mean, I live like a slob, and I got two of the greatest dogs in the world and a cat, and I panic anytime anybody's going to come over because my house is never 100% spotless. But that's how depression affects me. it doesn't let me do things that I want to do, that I know I have to do. And I don't know what it is about the mail, because I make pretty good money, so I don't have any problems. Like if a bill comes in the mail, it's not a big deal. But it's a mental block, and I just can't do it. So, and another thing with depression is I have to have something to look forward to. There always has to be something that I'm anticipating or looking forward to. And that made last year really tough because everything was taken away.
Yeah,
right.
And there was, from March until May, I basically did not leave the house unless it was the grocery store or work. And then I went out to Hinsdale and investigated the Hinsdale house with Todd and Stephanie. And, we did that, and I got yelled at by a bunch of people because I wasn't being safe, but I needed that for my own sanity. And then came back, and I think from June until September, and August and September wasn't something I had planned, but I couldn't physically leave the house. Going to the doctor in August and September actually became like a treat for me because I got to see people. But having to isolate yourself, and I know I'm speaking to the choir because there's a lot of people that have dealt with it in 2020. It doesn't do any good for your mental health, and it's a very touchy subject, and there's people that are on both sides of the aisle there, and I'm one of those people that just wants everybody to be safe and take care of everybody else. But at the same time, I also understand where people were coming from when they said, we got to be able to leave the house and do something.
Yeah.
Because this is driving me nuts. And keep in mind, I live alone. I got 2 dogs and a cat. We've had some great conversations in 2020. But yeah, so when I hear about, people struggling, it's tough.
Yeah.
You want people to, to succeed and not feel that way. One of the, I'm just bouncing all over the place, but one of the other things about depression is you want to make people laugh, and that's how I deal with it.
Yeah.
If I can make other people laugh, it makes me feel good. And the worst celebrity death for me was in 2014 when Robin Williams took his own life.
Absolutely.
Because honestly, he was my favorite comedian. He was my favorite actor. And then to find out he was struggling with the same thing I was. So that one hit me pretty hard. That have somebody that's so successful and still,
But Robin Williams was really a perfect example of what depression is, because his life was about, like you said, making other people laugh, making other people happy. And that's
how he probably dealt with his
classic
depression, for sure.
Yeah, and people who deal with depression want to make other people happy, and they also want to hide their depression. So,
and I hid it for, I said it earlier in the show. I hid it most of the year because I just didn't want to. I didn't want to bother people with it.
right.
Once you start getting negative comments, it gets into your head, and you're like, okay, people are sick of hearing about this. And if people actually knew me really well, I don't really like attention. Like when you talk about like the Polygraph stuff and I get too much credit for that, I always feel weird about it.
Right.
I have a hard time. I hired a publicist a month ago to help promote Polygraph's events because I have a hard time with the, hey, look at me stuff. But if Polygraphs is going to grow, then, there's got to be a little bit of, hey, look at me. And I'm horrible at that. So, to think I'm going to put something on Facebook and just, fish for compliments and all this other stuff is, people that say that they really don't know me. But I also know that when I do talk openly about it, it also helps people. So, but you can win. That's the thing people need to know is you keep fighting, you can win. I consider myself a winner. I'm here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You get up and you fight every day, and honestly, the bad days are few and far between now. So that's a good thing. Karen, I see you. Thank you for joining us. Love you too.
Sure. Yep.
So I don't want to be all doom and gloom because a lot of people would give anything to have the life I get to live. I'm pretty fortunate. So, I can't lose sight of that either. I'm grateful for everything that I have, and just want to be able to, tell as many people as I can that there's hope.
Right. Yeah, there is hope. And Tim, as far as gloom and doom, you're just being honest. Many people, most of us that deal with depression don't have a terrible life. Look at Robin Williams, another great example of somebody who, people would look at him and think, but he's got it all. He's a famous actor. He has plenty of money, a beautiful family, a very happy man. Happy, sad isn't necessarily depression.
Exactly.
It's, it can't be gloom and doom and, oh God, I'm sad. Or that's not what it is. Depression is a whole different monster all by itself. And it does hit a lot of us. But everybody needs to know there's hope, and it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to call a friend and say, I can't get myself out of bed. I can't get myself in the shower. I've been there. Many of us have. And
if I suddenly disappear from this feed, I apologize. I just noticed that my laptop battery is screwed. It's plugged in, but I'm down to 58%. So I don't know if my battery has just gone junk, and if I all of a sudden go poof, I didn't mean to.
I thought for a minute there when you said if I disappear, instead of going poof, you were going to go poop.
No, I'm good. I'm good right now. I'm feeling clean right now. Yeah, I don't know what's up with my computer, but yeah, hopefully it hangs on for another half hour.
Yeah. So, when you wrote that letter, and you fully expected that you would not be here and people would read it soon, did you honestly, I don't know how to put it, did you feel that really was what was you were going?
In my mind, I thought, yes, my boy's coming back to get me. Like if I ask him enough, he's going to come back and get me. But then again, we made a deal, and the deal was I got work to do here yet.
Yeah.
And I still do. And the deal was, I won't hurt myself if he lets me know he's okay. And he let me know that he was okay. And I've never broken a promise to my boy. So I will never hurt myself.
I'm very happy to know that. I think there's a lot of people listening that are going, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Like obviously I don't want to disappoint my mom. I don't want to disappoint my dad. I don't want to disappoint my grandma Ellen. Those are the three most important to me as far as family. I don't want to disappoint Murray either.
Right.
One of the most beautiful things that's happened to me happened to me in May when we went to the Hinsdale. For people that don't know the story, one of the daughters that used to live there, her name was Laura. She committed suicide years after moving out of the home. And I was able to, like I said, investigate there in May. And, Dan kind of gave us the rundown, Dan Class gave us the rundown of, things in the home. Mm-hmm. And I went up to Laura's room and I was talking to her and I came down. I was in there by myself. I came down and asked if anybody else wanted to go up there. And Todd volunteered to go up there. And Todd and I have a very close relationship, but we don't talk about a lot of things, if that makes sense. So when he was doing EVP up there by himself, he was talking to Laura, and then he started talking about me and what I meant to him. And it's the first time I ever heard any of it.
Wow.
Like I said earlier, if you don't know Todd Arnold, you got to get to know him. He's a special person. Hell of a human being. He really is. Jimmy is a little rough around the edges, but I love Jimmy. His wife, Michelle, is she is like, if you could find a person and just put them into this tiny little package and say, this is a great little person, that's her. She's got such a huge heart. And, so those are my closest friends. And, I'm doing pretty good in the friend category there. But, just being there and, investigating and then getting to listen back and hear all the things he was saying. And, of course, a lot of it, I'm like, he knows me. He also knows that he has to talk me down off the ledge a few times because I lose my temper. And, I always tell the team that if there's an issue and you need to talk to me and you don't feel comfortable talking to me about it, go to Todd, explain it to Todd, and Todd will sit down with me and make me understand. Because he's one of the few people on earth that can actually look me in the eye and go, Tim, you're wrong. And I'll listen to him. Otherwise, I'm very stubborn. And as big as I am, I can also be very intimidating. So, but Todd had ability. We're so close. So, if Todd comes to me and says, a long time ago when I started doing events, I told Todd, I said, I'm going to start doing more events and doing lectures. But if I change, you punch me in the face.
Read what Shiloh said.
I love a lot of people too. He hasn't punched me in the face yet, so I must be doing okay.
We look forward to getting
I can't because I can't reach you.
Yeah, Arjay's getting a little shorter, and you're not. So,
I am. I'm shrinking. I used to be 6'4". I'm 6'2" and 3/4 now.
Really?
Yeah. So, the old age is setting in, and I'm not a fan.
No.
Yeah, my grandma always said getting old is not for sissies.
We're finding that to be very true.
Yeah.
Very true. My son was quite tall, and I used to tell him if I was going to scold him or have a serious talk with him, sit down. And I would stand. And I'd tell him, I'm not going to look up at you or up to you right now. You have to sit. And I think if you really ticked me off, or if I had to have a serious talk with you, Tim, I would.
You're going to sit down.
Tell Tim to sit down.
I haven't been scolded by my mother in a while. Maybe after this show, she'll probably come over and. Yeah, I was taller than my mom pretty early on, so she's not a tall lady, but
yeah, I've seen photos of the two of you.
Yeah,
you do tower over her.
Yeah, I tower over a lot of people, and people don't like. If you see a picture of me, just me, people aren't prepared for how tall I am.
Yeah.
You meet me, and I used to go to family events, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're getting so big," and I'd be like, "I'm 35 now. That just means I'm getting fat. Stop it."
Yeah, we were down in Ohio, and that was between you and Tim, and my neck was getting tired looking up. Trust me.
Yeah, that was a Potographs event.
Yeah. Oh, my buddy Woolworth. That was actually a very sad event. That's where Tim lost his father.
Oh,
that was horrible. And God bless him. He was like the tower of strength, and we knew what was going on. He got up and he spoke after getting the phone call that his dad had passed. I don't know. I was so proud of him.
Yeah, he's he's another guy that I really look to for advice. Sometimes I got to tell him to dumb it down, but he is. He's one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life, and I've gotten to know his wife, and she's just as bad. So if it's the three of us having a conversation, I feel like a mental midget.
Yeah.
But, not a regular midget like Michelle.
Yeah.
I love you, Michelle.
Right.
Yeah. What were we talking about? I just kind of ramble.
I
Oh,
don't
jeez.
remember. We all lost it. Phew. We got through that letter.
We did.
That's what's important. So I think we should, we've got like 20 minutes. Talk a little more about the upcoming event for the people that weren't here earlier. How can they get their tickets?
You can go to autographsforpooches.com, click on the events tab. There's a donate button. If you can't make it to the event, you can make a donation, and all that money will go to Silver Muzzle Cottage. Otherwise, there are 5 investigation spots remaining, and I will go ahead and say unlimited lecture spots. If they start selling like hotcakes, then they won't be so unlimited because we have to do what we have to do to keep everybody safe. But right now, we can fit a few more. I would love to fill that place as far as we can. There's also a $2,500 match from my place of employment. They're going to match the first $2,500. I haven't mentioned this publicly, but Todd also works where I do. And since Todd's going to be at the event, he's also going to use his $2,500 match.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
So
Bless you, Todd.
if we manage to raise $5,000, it instantly becomes a $10,000 day.
Oh, wow.
And we will surpass $50,000 raised at that event. And just really looking forward to that weekend.
No,
Michelle's always threatening my shins. I'm used to it.
I apologize. Where is the investigation going to be held?
Right at the hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a simple Q&A with the speakers, and then break into groups and investigate for a couple hours. And we kept the cost low because I didn't want people to be disappointed. Truth be told, it's probably a money grab for the animals.
Well, I do have to say, though, that hotel is quite active. Not only is it right on the water, this whole area is very active. But 2 of our UFO cons, we've had, some of the mediums and some of the people there going, oh, my God, this place is insane. Walking around at 3 o'clock in the morning with K2 meters and stuff because of the activity. So
There's a couple of huge ley lines that go through this town. So the Kachina, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but yeah, activity everywhere in this town.
yeah. So they will be active investigations.
I mean, so we have the ability to raise a lot of money that day, even with a small crowd.
So with all of you people, let's do it.
And I should also mention February 23rd, we're going to be doing an online telethon. April Roan is throwing that together. We're going to raise money during that telethon. All that money is going to be donated to Silver Muzzle Cottage. There probably will not be a visit to Silver Muzzle Cottage this year just because of all of the restrictions.
Right.
So I hope people understand that. But Kim Scarrett does wonderful work at Silver Muzzle Cottage. I've said this before in interviews, and she's never taken me up on it, but I would marry that woman tomorrow. She has a huge heart in what she does for animals.
She's amazing.
So she does an incredible job, and just want to help her as much as we can. I think the most we've raised at an event is $7,679. Actually, I know that because it's an exact amount. So hopefully we pass that. And with the 2 corporate matches, I think we got a chance to do it. So let's get everybody out there.
Right. And where was that event?
That was last year's Silver Muzzle Cottage event in Houghton Lake.
Right.
The one that we did in memory of Murray. And so we're coming back again this year, and the expectations are a little bit lower just because of everything that's going on. But hopefully it's a success, and we can all stand up at the end of the weekend and be proud of the effort we put in
Right.
and what we were able to do.
Yeah. And, Tim, I would probably marry Kim as well, because that when I see what she does for Silver Muzzle, for these senior animals, um, she will lay on the floor and hospice these babies for days. She gives her whole heart to help them out. Many of their animals that they get in, like Molly, are, they're getting up there, but they have a lot of love to give yet. And Kim sees that. And she nurses them back to health and finds them homes. And, she is like this puppy miracle worker.
And it takes money, folks. That's why we're doing this.
Man. Yeah. Yeah.
I actually, I felt like a cheeseburger today, so I went and got myself a cheeseburger from Burger King, and shared a lot of it with Molly. She was pretty excited about that cheeseburger. So, and of course Ray, but
She's a special girl.
she is. She was my rock. After Murray was gone, I mean, she was the one I turned to, and a lot of deep conversations with that dog, and yeah, she's pretty special too. I'm gonna, as she gets older, she's slowing down quite a bit, but yeah, she's got me wrapped around her little paw.
Yeah. She's a sweetheart.
She's also a bed hog. She's a bed hog. She ends up in the middle of the bed every night, and yeah, it's not very fun for me, but we make it work.
Yeah. So, the more people that can come, bring friends, bring family, if you can't make it, buy tickets for everybody whatever we need to do.
Yeah, if you don't think you can afford the $50 ticket, then by all means hit donate, send over whatever you can.
$5, $10, $20.
Yeah, everything you donate goes directly to Silver Muzzle Cottage.
Mm-hmm.
So now, Tim, you're selling tickets. You said you had 4 left. Now, what about people coming off the street? How does that work?
For the day of the event?
Yes.
Yeah, as long as we have openings, they can come in. I would encourage them getting the tickets beforehand so we have a better idea of a number.
Right.
But we had quite a few walk-ups last year, too. So yeah, if people want to walk up and purchase a ticket, I can't promise you there's going to be any investigation tickets left.
Right.
Those will probably sell, but yeah, as far as the Saturday lectures and vendor tables and stuff, yeah, I think we'll have room for people. We just, we got to go by what the guidelines are and what our limitations will be. I'm still crossing my fingers that Michigan says, hey, you guys can come and hang out together.
Right.
Right. That's the biggest unknown right now. For people that are concerned about getting tickets and then the event gets canceled, I will definitely offer refunds. If you don't want the refund and you want the money to go to Silver Muzzle Cottage, I will take none of it.
You never do.
So, I mean, that's where we're at. I mean, you don't have to be hesitant just because you don't know if the event's going to happen. The event will happen as long as we are able to.
Right.
That's what I can say. If Michigan comes in and says, "Hey, we're shutting it down," then we have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to cancel the event. But right now, we're planning on it, and we're going to make the best of it. I think we all need it.
Let's go through that guest list one more time.
Oh, can Tim put the poster on the? There we go. Paul Bradford, most recently from Trending Fear, also from Ghost Hunters International. Is going to be speaking with Scott Tepperman. It's the first time they've spoken together, I think, in 6 or 7 years. Scott from Ghost Hunters International, Los Bastards Productions. I've been in 3 of their movies. The 4th one is coming up this spring. Tim Woolworth, Paranormal Study, ITC voices. Like I said earlier, Satori and Cody are unable to be there due to travel issues. And then also Chelsea Gill unable to be there due to travel issues. Brian Danhausen will be there. He's going to be speaking this year.
Nice.
James Anito and Carl Johnson. Also, Carl's brother Keith is going to be riding along with them. He'll be there. My two lovely hosts of the show here, Deb and Arjay, are going to be there talking about their thing. April and Braxton Roan, and then Todd and myself, and then John. You'll hear his voice all day. He'll be introducing people, and he's going to do about a 20-minute thing in the beginning to just kind of get people started for the day.
Yay.
It's going to be a special weekend. We're going to make it special, and do our best to raise as much money for that shelter as we can. All in the name of Murray, who's also on that poster.
Yes.
Yes.
And Murray will be there. Like I said earlier, everybody was having experiences last year saying Murray walked by them. They saw him running. They saw his tail wagging. They felt him, lick their leg. It was nonstop last year. Murray was so there. Look at that face, that smile.
It's one hell of a smile.
That, that is so Murray.
That's actually from my wedding.
No.
He was my ring bearer and my best man.
Aw, look at that. He was so sweet. There's another.
My ex-wife used to get so mad at me because she would say, "Why don't you smile in pictures with me like you do in pictures with Murray?" It was the answer I gave was, "Well, I'm just happier with Murray."
And that's why she's your ex-wife, right?
Yeah. And that's okay because we all have our own life to live, and I hope she's doing well.
Yeah,
Right.
I do too.
I said that with a straight face.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. It kind of warms my heart every time I look at these younger photos of Murray because you do see Ray.
Yeah, you really do.
It's unbelievable. And Murray picked Ray, by the way. You didn't. So stop taking credit for that. He did it.
I can't imagine if I went against his advice and brought home a boy puppy. Oh, boy.
Oh, no. That probably wouldn't have gone well. Oh, your mom says my grandpup. Love it.
Hey, there's John. How you doing, John Cassidy?
Yay.
Hey, John.
Hi, John. Yeah.
Yes, and Michelle says there'll be a raffle and auction items again at the event. Yes, there will.
Michelle's always awesome at that, isn't she?
Yeah, she does a terrific job. And the best part is she always wants to pay for the table, and she doesn't understand why I won't take the money. It's like
She's so cute.
you're basically doing everything you can for me for the weekend to raise money. I'm not going to,
Hey, if anybody gets a hold of us about vending, is it still openings or?
There are still vending spots open. I think we got about 2 or 3 spots we can fill yet.
Okay.
So there are opportunities there if anybody's interested. This isn't going to sell vending tables, but the majority of the money goes to the raffles and the auction items.
Right.
And a lot of the times the people that come in and vend are a little disappointed at the end of the weekend. So I want to be upfront and honest.
Yeah.
People are going to spend a lot of money on the raffles and auctions and things like that. But
And you do it from your heart.
yeah. Well, the vending table themselves, I mean, each ticket is $50 to get into the event. So a vending table comes for $120 with 2 tickets and a table. So you're basically paying $20 for a table.
Right.
If you look at it that way, it's not a bad investment. But yeah.
And Chelsea's not going to be there, but John Cassidy and I are both going to be there. We haven't worked together in a while, but maybe if I twisted his arm, we could do gallery.
Maybe you could.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I could talk April into it too.
Oh, that's right. April's going to be there too. Woo! That would be fun. Yeah. So a little more to get people going.
Kelly, you can buy a table and sell as much BS as you want to.
We love you, Kelly.
No, we like I said, we're hoping as we get closer to the event that the ticket sales pick up a little bit. The ticket sales started out fantastic when we put them on sale, and then things really started to tighten up. And we're kind of in limbo right now, waiting to to see what happens. But you'll be seeing that poster a lot more in the upcoming days and weeks. trying to get people involved into the event. So, looking forward to it. I need my Michigan fix.
Yes, and we all need it.
We need our Wisconsin cheese fix too. The big cheese.
I could probably stop at the cheese factory on the way up.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, John always used to make me bring him cheese curds.
He's here, so he'll probably say
Yeah,
something about that. But yeah, I think we just all really need a gathering, even if we have to wear a mask, and and we will definitely have to wear a mask. We'll probably be limited on the space, but even if it's at 25-50% capacity, it's big. We can fit
It's a big room.
people in there. And we also have the hallway for vending. We have the other room for vending if we need it. So if people don't want to get real close, they can, there's ways.
Yeah, you can space things out in the lecture area. Everybody can have their own table. My mom's going to bed. She's actually about 2 hours past her bedtime.
Thank you, Julie. She's so sweet. I just love
Night, Mom.
Pieces. Yeah. She's a great lady. So where can people find you, Tim?
I'm not going to give you my address.
I mean, are you still doing your show? And
Somewhere in
I know you have a book, and
I stopped doing my show 10 months ago.
Oh yeah.
I got my Sundays back to myself, and I kind of enjoy that. I did radio for like 10 years.
Right.
After a while, it was like, you want my weekend back.
right.
So I haven't done that. Working on 2 books right now, and when I say working, we'll put that in air quotes. Working. Working on 2 books. One with Todd. We haven't worked on that one in a while, and the other one is working on a book just about Murray, and that one's very slow going because I do some of the book and then I have to put it down for a while,
Right.
and go back to it again. But yeah, so I'm working on those 2. The last book I came out with was in 2016, so it's a little dated. It's like 5 years old, and so I should probably get something in the works again before people forget that I actually do the paranormal stuff too. But yeah, so you can find me if you want to find me on Facebook. Hurry, because apparently I'm above 4,900 friends now, so I don't have a whole lot of room anymore.
But you're going to delete the 100 that kind of gave you a hard time.
So I delete and block quite a bit. I just don't publicize it.
Right.
So I don't really have any room for like hate on my timeline, and that includes like any kind of like homophobia or anything like that. That's an instant block for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the politics if you're respectful with each other, but either side gets out of control and starts threatening the other, then I make room on the friends list. But but yeah, I mean it's an ever evolving list. We'll just put it at that. But I just don't tell people about it usually.
Yeah. I get that.
Well, it was a pleasure to see you tonight, to hear your voice, and
This is me smiling big.
I know. And I can't wait to get one of those big giant hugs and get my body crushed.
I don't want to break you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm pretty broken, so don't worry about it. Anyway.
He needs the healing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure, and seeing you and all our friends, and we love you very much. And people come to this event. It's going to be wonderful, as usual, and it's for a great, great cause. It couldn't be for a better cause. And thank you for sharing that stuff with us tonight, Tim. It helped us all, and it helped you, helped me, and everyone. So we love you, man.
I love you too, more than I could ever actually put into words. There was a question in the chat if I'm going to do anything in my area. I am working, and I believe that's Jason's wife. I'm going to be working with your husband to get something put together in Ripon. and that'll be sometime in October, but we don't have any details to share on that yet. But yeah, so I appreciate the opportunity. I hope people, I don't know if enjoyed is the right way to say it, but I hope people understand why we did this show. And, some folks, if they needed to hear this stuff, then they got to hear it. Again, I just thank you for the opportunity.
And I don't want to forget. Thank you everyone for joining us on Facebook. That was wonderful. Appreciate all your comments and all your love, and thank you for being here with us.
Big thanks to Tim Rian
Yep,
for doing
Tim.
this.
Yep.
I said there's not many people better in the world than Todd Arnold, but Tim Rian might be one of them.
He's pretty awesome.
He was here not too long ago in Houghton Lake.
Yeah, I saw pictures of that. Nobody invites me over, but it's okay.
Well,
You're always invited.
the pond is frozen, so
Yeah.
Always invited.
But yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate everybody that watched tonight, whether you tuned in for 2 minutes or the whole 2 hours. And let me get this stuff off my chest.
Well, thank you for being so candid and honest.
Sorry about all the snot.
It.
Was a lot of crying, but I'm gonna go hug on my kids here and enjoy the rest of my night.
damn salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, man. It was real. Thank you so much, and we love you. And let's keep in touch. And
We'll see you in about 5 weeks.
Yeah.
We will.
Woo! All right,
Can't
man.
wait.
You stay healthy, Mr. RJ.
Well, yeah.
And
trying.
I'll give you that hug here in 5 weeks.
Okay.
I can't wait to see your faces. And again, thank you so much for doing this for me.
I'm gonna start working out for that hug. Get prepared. Yeah.
Okay, everybody have a wonderful 5 weeks until we can see you. Take care of one another. Don't forget to, just be happy and reach out if you need somebody. We love you. Bless you. May all of your awakenings be mystical. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Night, Tim.